Hello all from Kirkby's kitchen. Here we are again. I must thank you all for the overwhelming response that we received to the video that I made last night on scone making. And as promised, today we're going to make bread. I'm now down to my last few dregs of flour, but we'll have enough to do this, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to be in a similar position. But I've given it some thought, and a bit later on I'll be doing some bread that uses self-raising or a mixture of plain flour and baking powder. So here are the ingredients that we'll be needing today: some olive oil, strong bread flour, some salt, some sugar and water. As easy as that. No bread machine required, no mixer, although I own up I normally use a mixer, but this is so sloppy, this dough, it's quite easily done by hand. So we'll start with the process of making it. I just want to give a big shout out to the amazing NHS and all key workers that are helping to support us and the rest of the country through this virus. And I, for one, and my family will be out there at 8 o'clock tonight giving them a round of applause. Going back to yesterday, the scone recipe, I forgot to mention two things. If you've got some milk that's a little bit on the turn, and my sister Dawn will be gagging at this now, you can use that sour milk for scones. And also, if you make a cheese scone base, you can use that as a base for pizza. Just flatten it out to kind of that thickness, an inch in my old language. Just a little guidance on tins and what to use. I prefer myself to use silicone loaf tins. Very, very easy. They don't need lining, and what I've done here is just rub some olive oil around them. If you're using a metal tin, they will need lining because they will stick. You can use a cake tin, but that would have to be lined, or even takeaway foil containers, but they again will have to be lined. Right then, let's start bread making. I have in here 2.5 pounds or 1.134 kilos. I'm old school. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. In we go. I normally just pour it, but I'm going to be professional here and measure out 2 teaspoons. In we go. I'm going to add 2 sachets, that's 7 grams in each sachet of yeast. Tip that in. 2 teaspoons of sugar, doesn't matter, granulated caster, brown sugar, this is just to get the yeast going. 1 litre of tepid water. If you pop your hand in, it should be blood heat. Told you this was easy, didn't I? All in one. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, like so. And here's the easy bit. We start mixing, and like the scone recipe yesterday, this is going to be really sloppy and you'll be panicking. You think, oh good heavens, what am I going to do with this? Trust me, it will work. So here we are mixing it in. I've got a mixture here of, well, the dregs of my flour cupboard. It will work with any strong flour. I've got a seeded one, a malted one and a wholemeal one in here. Now you can see that it's really, really sloppy. I would say mix it by hand for about a minute. If you're fortunate enough like myself, you can use a machine mixer, and again use the dough hook and just stir it until it all comes together. Now look how sloppy that is, and I think that's about it. And then what we do, scrape off the surplus dough. Here's a clean cloth to cover it over, like so. Depending on the temperature of your kitchen or wherever you're making the bread, this should take about 45 minutes to an hour, and it'll double in size, but we'll show you that a bit later on. So time for a cup of tea now while we're waiting for this to prove. Okay, this has had about an hour in the warm kitchen, but if it was to take longer to double in size as this has, then it would be of no detriment to the bread at all. Don't go sticking it in an airing cupboard or whatever. The longer the proof, that's fine. So then we're just going to knock it back like this. See how nice and spongy it is. And this just seemed like rather a lot of dough, and it'll make 3 good sized loaves. But my feeling is if you're going to put the oven on, you might as well fill it with lots of goodies rather than just put it on for 1 loaf. So we're knocking it back here. It's still very, very sloppy. You couldn't actually work this into bread rolls because it's too sloppy. Right then, we're going to divide it into the 3 tins. Bit of guesswork here, just divide it equally between the 3 tins. 3. Of course, if you were doing Bake Off, Paul Hollywood would have you weighing these so that they're equal amounts. But I shall just guess. I'm guessing that this one's a little bit bigger, so I'll take a bit out. Like so. I think they're pretty equal. The second proving doesn't take as long as the first, so I'm guessing that this will take about half an hour. And again, when they've doubled in size, have the oven preheated to 200 degrees fan or gas mark 7 or the equivalent. There we go, washing up time now. Well, as you can see, half an hour later, these have doubled in size. They've come up to the top, just slightly over. Now I'm going to put them in a preheated hot oven. We'll pop these in initially for 35 minutes, top shelf. And when they've had 35 minutes, I'll come back to you. We'll turn them out and put them directly onto the shelf for a further 10 minutes, but we'll go through that shortly. Okay, the timer's just gone off, so I'm going to take it out of the oven for now. And here's what we do. Tip it out like so and put it directly onto the shelf. It smells absolutely amazing. Pop it on there. Set the timer for another 10 minutes. Hopefully after 10 minutes that should be it. Hopefully these will be ready. Let's have a look. Tap the bottom of the bread as you were taught at school. If it sounds hollow, then we're good to go. Yeah. All 3 ready. Guess what we're having for dinner tonight? Now, we had loads of comments yesterday whilst doing the scone video and lots of pictures coming through, and keep them coming. Brilliant. And we want to inspire mums, dads, children's, grannies, everyone to have a go. But the next recipe I'll be doing is particularly aimed at children, because my little 4-year-old granddaughter helped me with these a couple of weeks ago. Melting moments. And I've written the recipe down here, well, the ingredients, so that you can get the ingredients out, and maybe we can do this together on our next video. tune in next time when we'll be making melting moments. Get the children involved. Have a nice evening, everyone.